You got me? There I am. Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. You go by Dusty or Dustin?
Either one. I think I
All
went
right,
by Dusty in high school, Dustin in my professional world. So,
nice. Well, cool. Thanks for hopping on with me. Just excited to have you check it out. Check out the app.
yeah. I'm also excited to check it out and kind of learn more about it as well.
Yeah, I don't know how you wanted to kind of go about this. Do you want me to kind of give you a demo, or did you have questions? Or
I would say if you can give me like a quick demo, because I imported a bunch of like one footage of just a conference and just kind of curious to see how like the searches or how it kind of separates everything and that sort of thing.
sure. Let me see if I can share my screen here. All right, let me know if you can see that.
Yep, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess you were able to import something just fine. And you may have noticed that when you did that, it kind of had some processing
Yes. Yep. I
that was
kind of
going
let it
on.
run for, oh gosh, like a few hours and kind of
Okay.
went through everything. Yeah. There
So,
was a bunch of stuff.
so quite a bit of material then. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that worked out. But yeah, so the file system here is pretty standard. You can create folders to organize your stuff. Um, this total archive here, um, I'm kind of waiting to kind of hear from some of the users to see what makes the most sense. But eventually, I'd like to be able to share that, make this kind of a shared folder situation, so that if you
Oh
had
yeah.
other people on the team, you could share your archive, and then you know they could see per client or however you want to organize it. They could see the material and also access the index. But yeah, once you get material in here, so you said you were importing a conference. So is it like a long form recording?
Yeah. It was 2 days. Um, I think like 10 presenters. So like each one is like 45 minutes long.
That's a ton of
So
material. Yeah.
just a bunch of stuff.
Okay. And do you have to edit that down into like digestible stuff, or is it going to be going on YouTube as like a full?
That's a great question. I don't really know what the client is going to do with it. I've already edited most of the deliverables as I kind of knew it was nothing too fancy, right? It was just like clip the front of the presentation, end of the presentation. There's the presentation for you, right? Or whatever else not.
Right.
But there's also some other projects I'm gonna play with this about of like actually other like documentary or commercial shoots to be able to just kind of sift through it all, like you said, find the good stuff without having to spend hours looking for the
Yeah,
good stuff.
for sure.
So,
Well, I hope this helps out then. So that I don't really have a conference recording, but this is maybe something kind of similar. It's kind of like a fireside chat with this
yeah.
guy. He's an entrepreneur, and this is a almost an hour long recording
Okay.
of him just kind of giving advice. But yeah, once it imports, you have the transcript you probably saw,
Hmm.
and you can search that with the search bar. That syncs to the playhead, so you can find that spot.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's um there's hotkeys set up for in and out points. So if you were wanting to go through and like um collect certain parts, you can do that right on this page. Just hit the I, you know, go key.
Okay.
You can do that here too. There's a little
Yeah.
in and out. And then um, if you have no collections created, it'll ask you to create one, or you can create one here or with that button, or you can hit the C key and that will add it to whatever collection is selected.
Gotcha. And is that collection just for the whole, like that project or that folder, or is it for kind of for everything?
You can do however you'd like. You can
Okay.
create a collection and add material from any video clip to it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So collections show up over here on the side panel. You can
Okay.
see I've created several here. Um, so you could, like, if you were wanting to manually go through here, you could pick out sound bites, add them to a collection. Oh, and then maybe I want a different collection for a different like topic that you're
Yeah.
pulling sound bites for, that kind of process.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
and then the part that I am so excited for that has saved me so much time is this. I gotta move there we go, my Zoom thing. Uh, this integration here with the AI. So this uses the Claude API. I don't know if you use Claude or
I
ChatGPT
have
is
used Claude.
similar.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's the thinking here is most of the processing that Vindexr does, it does it locally with your own hardware.
Hmm.
Um, there's the auto transcription, the visual search system is all local. And the reason I did it that way is because a lot of guys like me, and I assume you too, you've got quite a bit of footage in your archive or like this conference, hours of footage, and to have to upload that to a cloud service and store it there, and it just gets expensive to do that, right?
Yeah.
And time consuming if your internet connection is even a fast internet connection. But
Yeah.
um, so trying to keep everything local is kind of the approach here. The issue with that is with um, these local AI models is that they just don't have your hardware just isn't big enough. Like you don't have enough memory and RAM to run these larger models to do more
Mhm.
complicated things, like feed a whole hour-long transcript into it to give you cuts and suggestions. And so that's why I've tied in this Claude API. It can handle a bigger context window. Um, so like so here we could choose to just look at just this file with Vindexer, and you could say create a highlight reel, and it's going to go through and try to pick out the best parts that it thinks are are talked about in this
Uh,
in this file. But you can
okay.
prompt it with whatever you want. So you could say, um, so I know in this recording he talks about like tips tips for selling your business at a conference. So you
Yeah.
could say collect all of the parts where Stu talks about tips for finding success at a conference. So it's right now it's looking at the transcript for this file.
Okay.
Um,
And then you can have it look at, I think the drop down is the transcript, the visual, or both of it.
yeah,
Correct. Okay.
right.
Is there
So,
one that works best than the other? Like even if there isn't talking, I assume visual work would work better, right?
yeah, exactly. So if you're looking for uh, not so much what people are saying, but stuff that
Yeah.
is in your footage, then yeah, if you move this over to visual, you'll have better luck with that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Both tries to do both, so you could potentially say like, man in Jersey talking about conferences, right? And
Yeah.
then it's going to try to correlate both those things.
Okay.
Um, and then there's this file drop down. Same thing here. If you just want to look at the current file, you can do that. Um, but you may have, a folder of interviews, and you want to search and collect parts of from across all those interviews on a prompt or a topic. So you could change that to the current folder. I didn't
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't extend this to search the entire library with Claude because again, you have a context window limit. The limit with Claude is pretty big. It's still probably you could probably do about 5 hours at a time
Okay.
within a folder. But if you get much bigger than that, it'll start like truncating and not being able to find everything because it runs out of context window.
Gotcha.
But you could create a folder and put like 5 hours worth of stuff in there, and then another folder with another 5 hours, and then run queries against those folders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that query came back, it found 8 key moments, and then gives you a little text summary for each of these clips. So the clip is 727 to 742, and it gives you a little summary of what he talks about there. And then with this button down here, you can create the collection, and it's just going to put over here in the sidebar.
Uh,
So Stu's tips for finding success at a conference. It looks like I ran that query before, but um, but so if you click on the collection now, here's all those clips from that video that it found. You can preview them.
okay.
Turn this volume down. You can skip through each of them that way, and then send them to your editing software. Do you use Premiere, Resolve? What are you?
I use both, but I think primarily I've just been using Resolve.
Okay, cool. I can show you that real quick too. Let me launch Resolve here.
Yeah, because I'm curious how the integration with that is as well.
I think I have to change my sharing setting. 1 second. Let's try this. Okay, you should be able to see Resolve now.
Yep, got it.
Cool. So you have to have Resolve running, um,
Okay,
and then it's just uh, send to Resolve here. And it's going to tell you the collection name. It's going to create a bin with any media that's referenced in that collection. Tells you that there's 8 edit points, and you have the option to create a timeline. So creating the timeline is just going to place on the timeline these clips in this order, ready for you to go. So click send. It gives you a success message. And if we hop over to Resolve, you can see the bin is titled
okay.
whatever your collection was titled.
Yep,
And there's the media. There's only one file in that media, so that's all that's in that bin. And then
okay.
the timeline with those edit points. And
So
then
then if you import all, say, 8 clips, there would be 8 clips in that bin, correct?
yeah, so
Or,
if you had a collection that referenced
yeah,
like 8 different files, all those
yep,
files would be in the bin.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So in here you can also just click and drag to rearrange, you know.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to do in the future is make it easy for, I don't know what your workflow is like. I'll have a client that is like wanting to be more involved with the editing
Yeah,
process. And so eventually I'd like to be able to have this set up where they would have their own like instance of Vindexr. You could share a collection with them,
yep,
or even just raw media, and they could kind of do some of this selection of, oh, I like this soundbite or whatever. And then you could share these collections back and forth. And uh, so in that case, it'd be a lot easier for them to kind of do a rough edit. Here, they may not even have, editing software or skills, right? And so
right, yeah.
if they
Yeah,
can,
no, that would be great because I think of it like, I assume you've used Frame IO,
yeah,
like kind of take almost Frame IO off of browser into
yeah,
this, right? So that way, um, that is still accessible. Clients can still make comments, do revisions within this as well, right?
right,
Instead of having to upload it all um, to the to Frame, right?
yeah,
Because if your internet speeds are garbage, that's going to take forever.
right. I just,
But they can
I just,
kind of pick things.
yeah, exactly. I haven't used Frame in a lot of years, but I imagine it's still all cloud based, right? Like you have
Yeah.
to
Yep.
upload. And I have terabytes of stuff. If
Yeah.
I, if I have to do that, it's just a headache, and you always hit the limit, and it
Yeah.
costs so much to pay for their
Yeah.
cloud storage. So I was trying to come up with a solution that's not that expensive. But
Yeah. No, it's like it's great for like reviews or revisions or etc. Right?
mhm,
Like 1, 2 files, 3 files, whatever. But I think because I've also had clients where they want to see everything first, pick out, or you can send this all to them and be like, okay, pick out what you want or what you're going towards, right? And then I'll just make stuff whatever you choose.
right. Yeah.
Which would be much easier through this than it would be uploading it to Frame or. Drive or Dropbox, whatever else.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's and I've dealt with people like sometimes it's like um you've cut up an interview and you spent all this time to do it and then you're like, "Oh, what about where talks about XYZ, right?"
Thousand
eh,
percent.
and having to go back through and like find that in an hour long or 5 hour long, you know. So even if the client isn't using Vindexr, you having the ability to go back, to the file here and um, just prompt it, right? Say,
Yeah.
hey, find me the part where he talks about XYZ, and then you have
Yep.
that. Um, I was doing this other project. It was so we had all these interviews. Some of them are kind of stand-up interviews or sit down as well. And I put it together and you get to the point where you're kind of polishing and you're adding titles. Like I
Hmm.
wanted to title all these guys with their name and title. And I typically don't have them introduce themselves on camera. I just put the title on as they start talking. And so before it'd be a manual process of going back and like listening to where they introduce themselves, find that spot, and then typing down their name and their title, and doing that one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9, 10, 11 times. But with this, you can just go in here, um, change the scope to the folder. So it's going to look at all those interviews
Yeah.
and just say, find all the places where people introduce themselves. And then, I'll have a collection of just those parts. And it's super fast and easy to just reference that and title the guys. Um, yeah, there we go. So Casey White introduces himself as a researcher and development technician, so just like that,
That's yeah.
I've got all those.
And
Um,
then you can put that into a separate collection.
yeah, just
And
create a
then,
collection.
so
They
then
all
when
are.
you import those, when you import more than one collection to DaVinci,
Yeah,
it create separate bins for each collection you import?
yeah. So it's going
Okay.
to whatever the collection is called, it will be the
Yeah.
bin and
Okay.
also the timeline name. So I'll send that, and you can see here. So now I've got two bins, the introductions, and
Oh,
and
okay.
I can do a oh, it looks like yeah, here's so now there's two timelines. Sorry, Zoom is like in my way. It's hard to control DaVinci, but if you swap to the other timeline, then yeah. So the introduction timeline is here, or the first one we did is here. So you could reference that one and then, you know,
Yeah, that's amazing. I wish I had this for my reel I just did. Damn.
dude, it's saving me so much time already. I've been telling people, I hope it helps other editors and other video
Yeah.
guys. But if not, like I'll take it. Like it's so nice. It's maybe like video editing again because the worst part of editing is like, that tedious stuff of searching. And if you can get a rough cut done and then do the fun part, polishing the interviews or, tightening things up and adding your creative flair, then that's what I like doing,
Yeah.
not searching for what people are saying and stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, it kind of
anyway,
it takes the right because I usually organize everything in DaVinci, right? And
mhm.
that takes time,
Yeah,
but it kind of takes not that out of it, but reduces that time because you can organize everything in here, just import it into exactly what you're looking for and then get to work.
exactly. Exactly right. Um, I just another note here, you can
Yep.
because this is Claude, it's pretty robust what you can ask it. Um, so if you had a folder of interviews, like I've tried asking things like you can actually clear the window here, but um, I've tried asking it things like, hey, uh, uh, take take all the best, most interesting sound bites across all of these interviews and create a edit about this topic, um, using good story structure, using
Yeah.
a good hook or intro and a good middle section and a good ending. And it tries to do that, right? And it's
Yeah.
obviously it still needs you to put your creative input in,
Correct. Yep.
but you can get pretty granular like that and get a pretty good like rough cut result. And anyway, it saved me days, with this other project that I
Yeah.
did. But
It kind of gets you like 75% of the way there, and then it's just like I say, adding out the frosting to the cake, right? You're just
yeah,
putting it all together, making it flow nicer. Um, but everything else is still there.
yep.
How good is it? I haven't played with it too much, but how good is it at like separating like A roll versus B roll, just like general like talking points versus B roll that has no talking and just other shots?
Yeah, I would I would recommend, I don't know how you typically do things, but I would do like a client folder,
Yeah,
and then within that I'd probably do like a project folders. And then
gotcha.
within that I typically do, um I mean, you can import all your media in here into
Yeah,
any folder and it will show you, but it's not currently doing any separation of like, oh, this is a talking head video and this is B-roll.
gotcha. Okay.
I would kind of do that on the import end.
Yeah,
So like in here, you could create a new folder within this that said B-roll and another one that said interviews or whatever. Um,
gotcha. Okay.
but that's a good thought. Maybe we could figure out how to automate some of that.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess I could show you to, uh, Zoom just
'Cause I'm
keeps
sure you
popping
could
up.
you could also search, give me all of the clips that don't have a person talking, right? And that's
Yeah,
technically B-roll.
I haven't tried that. It might work that way. Um, so so I've been meaning to improve this system a little bit too, but if you're in this text search mode,
Hmm.
it's only really looking at transcription text,
Okay.
but also, well, there's kind of a few different things. Let's see if I'm trying to think of a query here. Computer maybe. Yeah, so I searched computer and it's this is one thing I could probably need to fix in a next version here or next update. There's so on import, it's doing some analyzation of each scene, and it's
Oh,
doing
okay.
text bindings to those scenes. So when I search computer in text mode, it's showing this clip
Yeah.
because there's a computer, but the only reason is because it's using kind of a different system than the visual system is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, that's a little bit confusing, but
No, I
if you
I
look,
get it. It's kind of just analyzing the whole thing, and if it shows a computer even in text form, there's a text with it, right? And just
yeah.
kind of that's what shows up.
So this little icon is kind of showing you uh, it's using that visual text search system.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is the transcript icon. So here he probably said something. He said the word computer somewhere. So
Yeah.
if I click on this one, yeah, see he says computer in the transcript. I'll probably end up changing this so that this text only searches spoken transcript text, and then all the visual stuff will be lumped under the visual
Yeah.
search mode. But anyway, if you click, it's also searching per folder. So if you want to search across the whole library, you got to click over on all assets.
Gotcha. Okay.
But if we're in visual mode, now we can search, something like boat, and it should pull, yeah,
All the boats.
all the boats. So these
Sick.
are, yeah, it's finding confidence level.
Mhm.
So pretty much it's pretty much 87% sure that there's a boat in these frames. Um, and then you can switch to by file as well. So it's showing you all the separate files that it sees across your library that have a boat.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then if you click, this, it takes you to the detail view for that file. There's another quick little shortcut that zoom to leave me alone. There's a thing here that shows you the file path.
Yeah.
A little arrow will take you to that file on your drive. So if you need to find it,
Oh, okay. Solid.
yeah. And then also in transcripts. So if we find a transcript, let's use this one. So if you want, you have the transcript here to look at,
Yeah.
but you can also export it as a text file, that little button there. So you can save that down and share it with somebody, or if you want to open it. And
Oh, okay.
so a few nice things like that. And then metadata, I added this. This is kind of fun. It's just a color palette. It's looking at the uh, just the frames across the video and finding the dominant colors.
Yeah.
Might be useful sometime. If you click on one, it copies the color code for that, so you could paste it into um, like Photoshop or whatever to get
Yeah.
that color.
That's so does it, I assume if you bring in like a graphic design template or a logo, that
Yeah,
will decipher the actual colors and
exactly right. Yeah.
oh,
So if you wanted to match colors on something, it might be easier
yeah.
to get from there. But it's a good idea. I could add a color picker here too, so that you can add to the color palette, because it's just picking the dominant colors, but maybe there's one that
Right.
you want to pick yourself. I could add that. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Very cool.
Got any other questions or? Oh, I was going to show you
Um,
too. So on here, Claude has a few models that are available,
yeah.
Haiku and Sonnet. Haiku seems to be plenty for most everything I've tried.
Okay.
The difference is Sonnet will use more of your tokens faster, so it's just more expensive to run.
Oh, okay.
So the default is Haiku. You can just leave it on that. Most likely would be just fine. You
Gotcha.
can,
Okay.
if you click the little gear, you can see your usage. So I've done. Uh, so you have
300,000.
Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
5 million tokens at the beginning of the month, and then it'll show your usage. It also shows that up here. It's a little more visual up in this setting.
Okay.
Uh, your license keys here, and then I've used 300,000 of 5 million.
Yeah.
And that seems to be plenty. If you get using it and you're like, oh, I wish I had more tokens, then let me know. We can see what we can do to increase those. But
I feel like how many tokens is it like per request?
Mhm.
Per
Yeah, so
uh,
if you run a request, it'll kind of show you how many tokens it used
gotcha.
for
Okay.
that. But yeah.
What does, I think I did have a question. The visual search or visual index, is that just to index it, index the visuals of it, or is there any function to that
Are you talking about this here?
besides that? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is a kind of a maintenance
Okay.
window. Uh, in development, there were times where I needed to clear the index or re-index based on changes I was making to the code.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it here because I plan to keep updating and adding features, and there might
Okay.
be a time where you install an update, and it should maintain all of your previously done indexing, but there might be a change where it like corrupts some of that, and you could re-index the entire thing here.
Gotcha. Okay.
You could clear the index. I just click all these buttons basically and re-index. But I have added the ability to re-index the individual file if you right click on it.
Okay.
Oh,
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but that's mostly for maintenance. Hopefully, in later versions, won't have to worry about that at all. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but play around if you run into things, let
Yeah.
me know, or if you have other questions, I'm here. So
Yeah, will do. No, this will be I definitely will play around with it. There's some projects that I will use it for coming up. So
Awesome. I was looking at your portfolio. You got some really nice stuff. It's awesome to see. So,
thank you. Yeah,
are
it's not
you
too shabby.
do you shoot? It looked like you had some red cameras in your BTS or
So yeah, so I've shot on red. I've had reds previously, but they are a pain in the ass to just be, let's say, run and gun style,
yeah,
right? Because
for sure.
everybody is wanting, a lot of the clients are wanting that, smaller productions, etc. Um, so I sold that, so now I'm just on the C70 and the R5,
Oh,
and
nice.
that does just as good,
Yeah.
sometimes better than the reds, but the reds are
You
beautiful.
don't have to wait an hour for it to turn on. And,
Yeah, you don't, you can at least use autofocus or internal NDs and just do whatever you want.
yeah.
And if you beat the crap out of them, they're not as expensive to replace.
True.
So,
Um, I currently support, I think you probably saw it. It does support red footage and Black Magic Raw. Um, I'm hoping to add the Canon Raw
okay, yeah.
support, but it's a process of I've applied for their SDK and they haven't approved yet. So
Oh,
hopefully,
gotcha.
hopefully they can get to that at some point. I can add that. But most other footage should work.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, ProRes works in all the standard formats. So, but yeah,
Is that a process of getting the different codecs approved to be able to use?
no. So they have it's just they have different software development kits, is what they call them.
Okay,
They're just basically code tools that I can use to understand how to handle the footage and interpret their raw codec in my custom software. And Canon has, I guess I've read on the forums that they have their own SDK, but you have to apply for it, and I guess they're just really slow at approving
gotcha.
vendors to code with their or to
To
implement their
use
code.
their stuff.
Yeah. Red and Black Magic are like freely available. You can just download it and go to town. So that's what I've
Is
got so
red
far. So,
is red still this like is it still red or is it like Nikon red
yeah, I
now
mean,
that they're
I guess Nikon owns it, but yeah, it's still
yeah,
the red raw SDK is what they call it. But, yeah.
heck yeah. But yeah, I don't think I have any more questions for you.
Okay.
Um, helped prob more than you think. So I'll
Awesome.
play
I'm
around with
glad.
it if I come around or come across anything that I have question on or an improvement or something else. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I love that. And then at some point, if you find value, I'd love to have like a testimonial or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
anyway, appreciate you taking the time and taking a
perfect.
look.
Thank you as well, Mark.
Okay. Have a good
All
rest of your
right.
day.
You as well.